Thank you. Hello to everybody. The situation of water and sanitation in Iran. Water is the most basic element of the life, and it is the mutual challenge of the sustainable development for this and the next century, and it can be the source of many positive developments for the world. The overwhelming population and the development of agriculture and industrial activities in Iran has caused an increase in the usage of water in Iran. And regarding the 10% reduction in rains in Iran, and lack of proper facilities to save money, we have less money entering to the less water entering to the water recycle in Iran, and the usage of water in Iran, which has been with not proper permissions from the government, has damaged the underground water sources, and this has caused a reduction in the amount of the underground water sources in different regions of the country. The water in Iran is being used for agriculture, 92%, industry, and drinking, 6% for drinking, and and it is very it needs a special attention if you compare it to the world standards. And we see that there is a huge use of water in agriculture with very little outcome, and in industry because of very old methods of usage of water in this sector. Right now 30% of our water facilities, which is almost 40,000 kilometers in the cities, are out of use, and 13% of the water waste in the country is because of these old facilities. Unfortunately, using traditional systems in agriculture has caused a huge water waste in the agricultural fields. Iran, as one of the countries in the Middle East, which is facing a reduction in its water sources, and the water sources which were previously 130 billion cubic meters have now been reduced to 116 billion, and in some years we had a reduction to 114 billion. And if it goes on like this, we will have a worse situation in the future. According to the statistics of the Power Ministry, in the provinces of Fars, South Khorasan and Isfahan, not only we have run out of underground water sources, but the water behind the dams have been reduced by 25 to 50%. This is while 2/3 of the water sources of Iran are in the western provinces, but the people of these provinces, like Khuzestan province, have huge problems in having water, especially for the drink water. And in Sistan and Balochistan province, which had the least water sources always, we have a minus income in the year. That outcome, that means the use of the water is more than the rain in this province. On the other hand, the need of eastern provinces to water will be reduced to 750 million cubic meters. And regarding the current water sources, we will have a lack of 850 million cubic meters in some years. And in this direction, the authorities are using the sanitary system as a new source to compensate this reduction. Sanitation is one of the important issues in water management. And the sanitary water means the water which comes out of any kind of process. This process can be an industrial process or a filtering process. Therefore, sometimes the sanitary water will be used in a recycled way, but in our country there have been very little researches in using this water in agriculture or industrial fields, and using and transforming the qualitative standards of sanitation to use the water in new ways. Therefore, lack of such measurements is always very obvious for the users, for the water users, for the planners, and for the authorities. If we just leave the sanitary water, it will cause health issues for the environment, because this water has pollutes 4 times more water than its own amount. And we produce yearly 32 billion cubic meters of sanitary water in Iran. And almost 42% of the population in Iranian cities are under the cover of sanitary system, but we have a long way to a good point. And also there are 186 villages who have been in the plan to receive sanitary facilities, and some 111 villages are on their way in building these facilities. Therefore, saving money from pollution is related on sanitary networks and usage of the water for new methods. According to international standards, the cities with more than 50,000 people should have sanitary networks, and therefore at least 1,500 cities must benefit from such facilities. But in Iran, 80% of the sanitary water is left on and if it goes on like this, it will damage the environment and human societies very seriously. And regarding a shortage of water sources in many regions in the country, the usage of the sanitary water is unavoidable. So we need to change our view on sanitation and see it as a source, not as a waste. In the end, I should mention that the water crisis has come to a point that every way is being suggested right now to get out of the situation. Thank you very much for the time.